Yo, what's going on, everybody? What's happening? What's happening? Good people in the building, good people in the world. This one is for y'all. This one is for y'all, man. Like a lot of us are doing the best we can out here. A lot of us are putting our best foot forward. We're moving forward. We're trying to follow the steps of an elephant, one foot in front of the other, even though sometimes it might go backwards, but it's mostly forward. That's it. That's it. Couldn't have it any other way. Right? We don't move backwards, we move forward. I'm still seeing a lot of people still fading RH. That's part I've heard me over the years criticize RH. It sounds like I was fading him. But at the same time, I try to be as fair as possible. Offer some criticism, offer some harsh critique, analysis paralysis. Because I understand what we're doing here. It's not a game. This is not a game. It's survival of the fittest. It's not for the weak. This crypto DeFi thing is not for the weak. You can't hold on to your crypto. Don't deal with the crypto. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. I could emaciated. I see you, man. What's going on? DGen Dougie Bong Bong Bong. More Hex. What up? Dr. Moray. What's up? What's up? What's up? Oh man, you bringing back that Matos energy. Man, from Thailand. Was it Thailand? They had the conference. Checks my pulse in the building. What's going on? Yo, we here. It's another day. We really literally one day closer to the next all-time high for Hex, Pulse Chain, and Pulse X. Jay, everything. Gratitude. Salute to you, man. Gratitude. I'm grateful. It's hard as F. Just in life. Right? Right? We enjoy life the best we can because we understand the challenges, or we try to face them head on. Those of us who are responsible, right? We try to meet our obligations the best we can. And we have crypto here. It's a place where, man, you could make the impossible become possible. Sometimes there's no rhyme or reason, depending on how deep you're involved, what your interest is, right? How you get connected to this crypto space and what you could offer, what you understand, what you contribute. This thing can go all like so profound, but it's available and it's here. And on the surface, man, powerful. Powerful. Like I was once a fader. I faded RH one time in my crypto experience. Then I learned from the error of my ways, from the lack of understanding, the lack of information, the lack of education of what this crypto is and how it works, and to incorporate it to whatever experience I had up to 2019. Broaden my scope, broaden my worldview. Accept what I thought was right for being not so right, and accept what I thought was wrong for being all right. Not so bad, I guess. Example, let me give you an example. I didn't believe in, when I got into Bitcoin, it was all about decentralization, right? Decentralize this, decentralize that. No middleman, no intermediary interfering and running and calling the shots and telling you what you can and cannot do with your money, right? Bitcoin goes against all the governing powers of the world and the central banksters, the central banking system throughout the world, right? Gives the power back to the hands of the people who support these monetary, who have been supporting these monetary systems for over 100 years. Decentralized, 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 person to person, peer to peer, network nodes all throughout the world, mining. You're doing this, you have your own node, you're securing the system, you're verifying, you're not trusting, all this stuff, decentralized, decentralized, decentralized. Until I started noticing Crypto Gains Club, what's going on? GM to you. Until I started noticing, oh, there's some centralization involved, whether people want to accept it or not. There's a great deal of centralization involved. There's a great deal of in Bitcoin, dealing with Bitcoin, there is centralization involved. You're thinking, oh man, the blockchain is open source. People are running nodes throughout the world. They can't shut it down. Decentralized. There's centralization involved. But I was ignorant. I didn't want to accept that. Common sense, when you're looking at the top holders of Bitcoin, the top holders of Bitcoin own most of the coins that exist. Is that not a form of some central, right, authority or set of people, a set of holders that own the most? Is that not indicative or an example of some form of centralization taking place? I think it is, but what do I know? But up to that point, I was all about decentralization. Oh, no, forget about that, because everybody can have access to it. So that means it's decentralized. Not completely. I had it wrong. Then Richard Hart brings Hex into the fold. This whole idea of right, not your keys, not your coin was always there, but this whole idea of having this entity involved in the operation that holds the majority of the coins, called the OA, sort of challenged for me. I'm like, well, what's decentralized about that? In a sense, right? It challenged my whole understanding about crypto. And oh man, wait a minute, you talk about decentralization, but you got this whole centralized situation going on, and who's in charge of it, right? Who's running it, right? Who's overseeing this, right? That's where these questions came up, in a sense, right? Who owns the OA? In the beginning was, where did the ETH go? Adoption amplifier days, recycling the all this stuff going on. Someone is calling the shot. Someone has their hand. There's a puppet master behind the scenes, blah, blah, blah. And that wasn't even my beef with RH. My thing was even more simple than that. I'm like, who is this guy in this top hat? Look at the avatar. He's a magician. He's trolling the entire crypto space, man. And he put a coin out called Hex. Some people understand Hex is a curse. Hex denotes a curse, like you cursing the crypto space. He's a magician cursing the crypto space. Why would I ever even lend this man any of my attention? And more, and even more so, my money. What's he promising here? What are you talking about? This guy, you out of here. That's me. That was me. It wasn't about no damn OA and recycling anything, ETH, ownership, nothing. And I was at the time unwilling to even give a chance to understand what this man was teaching, what he was presenting, whether you liked it or not. I didn't give it a chance. And I paid for it dearly, dearly. Dearly. And I learned. For many of these things to work, especially in the case of hex, right? Like it was just it's just there. You have to understand and accept what's in front of you, right? There's some centralization involved in the decentralized operation. You had to have some centralization involved to make this all of this work. Then you look at the real world, right? In a sense, this is all part of the real world. I'm saying you look at another aspect of the real world with these other investment vehicles and instruments, i.e., legacy, stocks, and all these things. You always have some type of central authority running the shots, calling the shots, running the operations. A few holders hold the most of everything that everyone else is trying to obtain. A few hold the most. A few hold the most. Meaning, if you hold the most, you have the most power. That's just been present in everything we got going on. And then I'm saying, oh, wow, this whole talk about decentralized, the top holders of Bitcoin hold all of it. So tell me, where's the fairness in that? And tell me, what's the decentralized nature of that, in a sense, where they want to take everything and forget everybody else. They want to be greedy and selfish and do all that. But that's the thing for a different story, right? So a lot of these things that I learned, I had to learn to accept. Because what did I come into this for? I came into this to find a way to make money, to help myself and my family and my community. Because it's available, and why not? This is legal. Not talking about doing anything nefarious, shady, and criminal. Take advantage. I found out about it for a reason. And thankfully, I've been able to help people in my life from learning about this. So that's a positive. That's a benefit that many of us can share. Many people are unwilling to learn. You can't force them to drink. You could bring the horse to the water. You can't force the water to drink. They're going to be unwilling to learn. A lot of people just laugh at you and never believe in anything you got to say regarding crypto. And it's okay. That's life. That's how things go. You can only control what's in your means. And throughout these changes, this time period, so many things have occurred. Advancement, innovation, launches. We got the world's largest airdrop. It came to pass. It actually occurred, whether you like it or not, through these methods, these weird, clever methods of, sacrifice this and that. We got the airdrop. We got the coins. We got the blockchain. We got the DEX. We got so much going on right now, where the type of conversation that Pulse is involved, it's just like, my goodness, like you could see the messaging, the marketing that was being done 2-3 years ago, right, is bearing fruit. Albeit I didn't agree with the rage marketing like that and all this stuff, but the community that was born from this, that started to just take shape and expand and learn. Here we are today, where Pulse Chain is a topic of conversation in DeFi, heavy topic of conversation. Basically it's through the messaging from the founder himself, the messaging and the people taking the messaging and running with it, the community growing, the community developing, the community expanding. throughout the world. And you still have people, you know, every people are never, there's certain people who will forever be miserable. There's some people that will forever disturb your peace, or try to at least. They will represent disdain. They represent discomfort 24/7, right? All this, like, they don't think about the good that's going on. They emphasize the bad. They don't think about how far many of us have seen the changes over the last few years, paying close attention. We're watching so many things, all the levers, you know, towards this thing working. Has Pulse Chain shut down, for example, right? Has there been some major malfunction, major issues where the chain stopped working, for example? No, we can't say that there has been. There's no situation like Solana where you could just turn off your situation and operation at will whenever you feel like it. That's a blessing. But what folks will focus on is a negative. They drink and consume negativity every single day. Even though they're receiving benefits from a chain that we all understood and participated in our own conventional ways. This thing is so unorthodox, it's not funny. We took the hits, we taking the risks. The majority of people in the world would think we're all lunatics, that we're all crazy for participating in what we did, but that's what risk takers do. High risk, high reward. Because a lot of people can't see what we see. They can't understand what we understand. And we're here watching the prices go up, approaching SAC again. Right? Watching certain things come together external from this community. Watching just this is so masterfully woven. This thing is just taking shape in such a way where you have to be in a position where you're thinking, man, thank you, Creator. Thank you for allowing me to be in this position right here to see the potential of what may come. We're in a bull market right now. Like, we are in a bull market. Enough of the drama, enough of the negativity. In other words, it's not even about drama, negativity. Enough of listening and accepting the ignorance of non-believers, of haters, accepting their weak opinions about a founder who they can never compete with, ever. Because if they could, they would. And while they're competing, if they can compete, right, whatever they do will manifest and show the world that, yeah, they're in that category. They're in the same league. They're not. So you have people still fading RH to this day. And they will, right? The craziest part about it is one thing if you're an outsider, you haven't been in the community, you don't understand crypto. Because those of us here, we're advanced compared to a no coiner. We're highly advanced in this shit. Excuse my language. We're all adults here. The learning curve, just to onboard somebody, you got to jump through hoops and hurdles. I don't care if you got a direct fiat on ramp, this and that. Just by speaking in that language, you almost have to dumb it down for somebody. And it's not to be disrespectful, but you got to meet a no coiner where they're at. to introduce them to this complicated situation we got going on here. That's not as complicated because we've been involved with it, because we've been doing it. And when you have people in the community, still to this day, while we're in a bull market, while we're watching prices go up, who are ungrateful, want to talk crazy about some staking, how, you know, I'm going to play a clip in a few to talk about exactly what I'm saying right here. Big Smock, I see you. DJ Bomber, I see you. What's going on? BP Crypto, Blind Royalty. Appreciate that. He said, let them cook. Academician. The masses love chaos. They love problems. They love disturbing good things, right? They want to detract. They don't want to add. They don't want to contribute. Now, let me find this clip. Let me find this clip, and I'm gonna play this clip for y'all because this thing is weird to me. This situation that these people got going on is weird. Did y'all see that? Did y'all see that? Let me know if you saw that. I don't even know if it played. Did my clip go? Did the clip go? Not my clip, their clip. All right. Let me check. Let me check again. Let me check again. See, this is nothing. What we doing out here, man? This is see. I should have did a sacrifice and rugged y'all. Give me the money so I could build a studio and stream and laugh at everybody's misfortune. I should have did that, man. Like these people did, launching sacrifice projects left and right, and they're rich, and everybody else is just wondering what happened. Man, I can't even. Man, what are we doing? Wonder, you're looking crazy in these streets, man. Let me see, folks. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see how I'm gonna do this now. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. Bear with me. Bear with me. Because this is, bear with me. Bear with me. Bear with me. Bear with me. Let's see.
Like, I still kind of believe it, but at the same time, like staking, I feel like staking is like not really worth it at the minute, especially now we're in the bull run. Like, I think you ask any reasonable guy that isn't like still drinking the Kool-Aid and actually can think for themselves, would you rather be staked through the bear market, or would you rather have just sold the top and or anywhere near the top and then rebought 99% down because you could have got 100 extra coins? You're not getting 100 extra coins by staking, buddy.
But you know what, bro? You know what, bro? Them same guys will tell you that they would prefer staking. Do you know why? Because they never cheated that top. So they will tell you
because they've got cognitive bias like a motherfucker, and they can't admit that they were wrong. But anyone who just looks at it from an objective point of view is going to see that they were completely wrong. Actually, kind of retarded, to be honest. So, no offense to these. I got caught out too, man. I just didn't have as big bags like you. Like, I only had like tiny little diddly bags.
All right. Y'all caught that? So let me take time to unpack this. I kind of understand where he's coming from. But at the same time, I don't 100% agree, because this is what happened, in my opinion, right? This is what happened. 3 years ago in 2021, when Hex reached its all-time high, that time where everything was euphoria, bull market, everybody making money, hand over fist, Bitcoin reaching all-time highs, all these things taking place. Hex breaking records. 10,000x gains, all that. People were not being honest with the community and the audience. Streamers at that time, there were so many Hex streamers, a lot more active than there are now. And the narrative back then in 2021 was stake it till you fake it. Fake it till you stake it and make it, and then fake it and stake it for 55-55. Stake everything 55-55. Right? Right? Not saying that they had people also selling. They were also not just emergency and staking. They were selling their liquid tokens. Boatloads by the boatload. Right? So this gentleman that's talking, I remember, showed up on the scene, even participated in, the functions. Like, that was a 2-year anniversary, John, in Europe. That gentleman said he met Richard, in Europe. Just came on, fresh on the scene. You heard him say he had little diddly bags. Not like how everybody else did. But everybody at the time, the majority, the messaging was 55-55. And while at the same time, they're dumping. Because how else are you gonna achieve the opportunity, right, to pay off your debt, to retire? You're wondering, if a person is staking, you have no Hex to sell, because all you have are T-shares. Once you're staking, you don't have Hex anymore. You just have these shares that are printing more Hex for you. 00 UTC daily, printing yield. So where's the selling coming from? People have to have liquid, right? This thing was just absent, like the in a sense where that messaging was absent. Why? Because it wasn't something that was really encouraged to talk about publicly, but you saw it actively taking place on a blockchain. You're wondering, man, on paper, you're looking at your accounts, right? On paper, people are looking like millionaires. You got these high APYs, you got this high value. Those people that use Staker app to look at the thing, they're showing their Staker app, dashboard, they're showing how long they're staking. A lot of them weren't staking 15 years. A lot of them were staking 5, 6, 7 years. I remember because that's what I got into, and that's what I saw. All the while churning and pushing the narrative of some 55-55, which was disappointing because in a sense where when people really, when I, for example, discovered the flim flam that they were doing, I discovered that last year. Like, oh, I see what happened. I see what these people did because I bought into it. And it's not a bad thing for staking 55-55. But I bought into this whole narrative. Oh, yeah, you know, stake long term, this and that. You know, you shouldn't trade. These people were trading. They were selling whatever they had as far as liquid. They didn't believe in the whole thing 55-55. And if they did send out something 55-55, it wasn't 100 million, 200 million, 300 million hex. We've seen it on Hex Pulse. You could do the chain analysis paralysis if you want. I'm saying the majority. Maybe some have. You know, what comes to mind when a collective like Maximus came to the fore. And they introduced Maximus, where they were raising 150 million hex to stake for 15 years. That was unheard of at the time. They did it in 2022, the year after the previous bull market. That was unheard of because they weren't doing that. Only a few. The majority wasn't. They were selling, right? So he says what he says that, what would you rather do? Would you rather, you know, have liquid bags or stake during a bear market? Let's play the clip again so I don't, you know, misuse or say the thing wrong.
I still kind of believe it, but at the same time, like staking, I feel like staking is like not really worth it at the minute, especially now we're in the bull run. Like, I think you ask any reasonable guy that isn't like still drinking the Kool-Aid and actually can think for themselves, would you rather be staked through the bear market, or would you rather have just sold the top and or anywhere near the top and then rebought 99% down?
You see? That Kool-Aid thing he's talking about is real. In a sense, it's real, right? I have to be fair. I have to be balanced and impartial with this, even though I could only be but so impartial because I'm you know what I'm saying, I'm a believer in the whole John. You know. But the Kool-Aid was, oh yeah, 55-55, stake till you make it and this and that and that and this. They didn't also add in the Kool-Aid, but if you want to also achieve the gains and get the money, you have to sell your liquid bags. That's part of the Kool-Aid too, that they kept secret, only among themselves, only among certain, you know, if you knew, you knew. But everything was like stake, 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 stake. 10,000x gains liquid. Liquid. If you were staking, they said the numbers were double that. The value, but you couldn't do anything with it because it's locked up unless your stake was, you know, was ending. Just be fair, be real, be, you know, present something complete to the people. They didn't do that. They gave, right? The T-share value was more than 10,000x. They were saying it was about 15,000x. Liquid, all-time high for Hex. Hex reached 10,000x in value, right? The T-share value at the same time, was 15,000. Stakers value 20,000. X. So it's attractive. You're like, oh yeah, oh wow, oh yeah, oh wow. But when you're staking, you're staking. You don't have Hex. You got T-shares, printing. He says, what would you rather do in a bear? Would you rather sell at the top? You never really know what the top is. And then what are you going to do? You're going to buy at the bottom of the bear. A lot of people don't do that. Did they do that the last 3 years? You understand? Like, did they do that the last 3 years? Like, they sold the top. Did they not retire and go live off their proceeds, which is their right? You sell the top, and then the bear market comes, and now you're going to buy back what you sold at a 99% down. Did we see that really occur, or were people not groveling, complaining, and crying and bitching about how this thing is 99% down and it was wrecked forever? Did we not hear that for the last 3 years? Or I would not say 3, but 2 years. Strong 2. Strong year and a half. That's why a lot of things, as far as like game theory and staking ladders, and you have these periods where you got to put stakes so you don't feel like you're missing out. Because this next bull run, right, that we're in right now actively, right, the beginning of we're in a bull market. If Hex breaks through all-time high and soars through the roofs and keeps, delivering glorious gains, stakers can't do anything unless you emergency end your situation and incur penalties. But that's a decision. That's the agreement. That's that's how the whole system works. But to say, like, there's something about him saying he would prefer to buy 99% down so that you can get 100. What was it that he said? Let me play this again real quick.
Because you could have got 100 extra coins. You're not getting 100 extra coins by staking, buddy.
Because you could have got 100 extra coins. You're not getting 100 extra coins by staking. The game theory that's involved with Hex is something that people still continue to fade and kind of misunderstand and take for granted. I'm not going to say you're going to get 100 extra coins by staking. And I'm not going to say you're not going to get 100 extra coins by staking. By not staking. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to say yes or no. I'm not going to fade it, though. Because one thing we have to realize, right? You was taking these last 3 years. You take into account, okay, you're earning APY. Regular schmegular. APY. This is what you're earning on top of what you locked up, right? On top of that, you can't foretell or foresee who is going to suffer some type of penalty by emergency end stake. You can't tell or foretell or foresee what type of God candles are going to be introduced into the, right? Who's going to buy at such a level where it just changes the chart tremendously, which I aspire that happens forever, or who has crazy, stupid dookie bags that are just going to sell them before the stakes are supposed to end, creating situations where not only do the penalty, the rewards from being penalized half go to the OA, the other remaining half go to people who've been staking. And you don't know the frequency of that, right? So within a time period where you say it's a bear market, you don't know how many you can accrue. You can't fade that joint like that and say, oh, no, you're not going to get that. But I understand to an extent where he's coming from because he's a competitor. He's a person who's also been very critical of RH. He's a person who just came on the scene, 2021, who caught a lick He caught a lick. It's what it is. Caught a lick. He's one of the founders that introduced sacrifice. He's one of them. And you begin to think and wonder, damn, man, even now, 2024, December, Bitcoin just touched 100K, playing with 100K like it's nothing. Ethereum, 4K like it's nothing. Pulse chain, everything going up like it's nothing. Little by little, who cares? It's going up like it's nothing. And folks are still trying to, tell you that, I don't think staking is something of any real benefit. Because you threw millions of dollars at this competitor. Y'all threw millions of dollars at this competitor. So now you might be suffering from an inflated ego. Regular schmegular people now. Regular schmegular people caught a lane, caught a lick, caught an angle. Oh, I'm going to introduce this thing through jokes. Humorous guy. I've seen him before. He's a funny guy, man. Not taking anything away from him. But, dude, like, Hex birthed you and your operations and what you did and inspired you. Richard inspired you. This is what I mean by these people don't even know how to be thankful. They're not grateful. They're not grateful for even a community. Seeing what you've done, you've engendered some type of whatever fellowship with certain people in the community that allowed you to be seen, to build a popularity enough that you could leverage, introduce your promise of a meme coins, clever meme coin, clever. Take nothing away from the cleverness. Relevant, clever. The meme lane, that's this guy. Hypersexualized meme lane, jokey joke. That's his lane. I'm not knocking him for it. He's a marketer for real. Enough where you raise millions off of your work, off of your marketing skills, not your know-how, your marketing skills. Maybe your know-how because you know how to market better than me. No hate. You know what I mean? But what I find is weird. This has been the whole thing for me and these builders. Richard Hart inspired y'all. But you have so much animosity towards the man. If he decides to disappear, to not want to be involved, what happens to whatever you got going on? How are you going to take the reins? Because you represent another segment of people who also did the same thing by being sacrifice project leaders and this and that, and you want to lead by default. By default, you raise millions. We understand it's a competitive space. We get that. We get capitalism. We get all that. But you shoot this man down that you're not even in his league. You shoot the teacher down. You shoot the master, right? Like this guy just figured out crypto more and probably forgot more than we'll ever know. At a young age, you just have some people out there that are just like that, right? You just have some people out there that are just marked for certain types of things and destined to do great things in life at a high scale, high level Apparently, it looks like it's RH in this system on this side of things with crypto related, DeFi related. You fade him to this day. The vitriol, the animosity, the envy, the jealousy is poisonous. Because you still got people in this community that that welcomed you and welcomed y'all. Not only welcomed and right, welcomed you with open Mexican arms, They gave you all kinds of money to the tunes of millions of dollars. If that's not proof of some type of support, I don't know what, how else can you prove that somebody's supported by a community? And you just keep digging. Is these things like, it's like, okay, I see your point with, buy 100%, 100x and 99% down and all people drinking the Kool-Aid and all that. But take it a step further and break down what led you to come to these conclusions. They're not going to be transparent like that, which is, I think, a disservice that you do for your supporters and people in crypto, especially if you've done things to introduce your projects. The projects you've done is for everybody to use, right? Why don't you keep it all the way honest and really be transparent? Since you just started 3 years ago and you've seen millions come through you know what I'm saying? Success. You've been successful in your own right. So what led you to draw these conclusions where people are drinking a certain Kool-Aid? What's the nature of the Kool-Aid that you criticizing people are still drinking? That you said you also got caught into drinking to help educate the masses. People want to keep you in a state of servitude and just continuously tear you down, not encourage you to really learn, not encourage you to really think critically, and still take advantage of you by asking you to believe in them and giving them your money. And just liking them for the sake of, oh, I'm cool, so believe in me and trust me, bro. I got your back. So if he leaves, see, Wall to Wall TV says, it's because Richard called Satoshi a BRTCH so many times that then when this SEC came, Richard hard, I want to go. Well, interesting. Let's break that down. Because I did remember RH being extremely critical. Excuse me. About good old Satoshi Nakamoto. Extremely critical. For leaving, disappearing, ghosting, not being involved anymore, not connecting with the people, not messaging, just fading to black, fade in the wind, disappear, gone. And look what's happening now. Or what's been happening since 2023. We just have Twitter. We just have him on Twitter. We just have it, right? This and that, Twitter, this and that. No more pre-recorded videos. No, nothing. No more pre-recorded. Just this. Just what we did. To the point where people think that his whole account got usurped or hijacked, and someone else, maybe his friends or someone else is using it. Some people don't even believe RH is tweeting anymore. The smoke that the SEC got is just what it is. You know, even though people are hopeful, including myself, hopeful that we're going to win, you know, what's there not to win, in my opinion? But I'm not a lawyer. I'm not the judge. I don't know how things are going, you know, are going to take shape and unfold, but I'm hoping for the best. But what if he does disappear? Then we're going to see what, you know. We saw how the community panicked a year and a half ago, last summer. They panicked right before Richard got the notice from the SEC. These people had a 7-hour stream, panicking. Richard's always said, I don't work for you. You want to see something done, you do it. Don't get scammed, man. I don't work for you. You want to see something done, you do it. We're given the tools. We're given everything. Oh, IPFS. You know, we got the chain. We got the decks. Yo, man, let's rock and roll. This and that, that and this. But everybody also started, not everybody, but people also started talking about what? Everybody waiting for Sag Daddy to move money with the $2 billion sacrifice that he received. Everybody waiting for him to make moves to pump his market, to pump his ecosystem. You see the double, right? It's just this whole situation that's taking place here that is just, in so many ways, the community is its own worst enemy. Can't get nothing, can't be on one accord. Maybe that'll never happen, right? And it's not about kumbaya. It's just about like, all right, people just are attaching him to certain things emphatically as if they've seen him press send, buy, delete. They've seen him acquire and sell and do whatever and trade crypto as if they're over his shoulders. They're right with him next to a computer while he's doing his thing with crypto. They acting as if he owns all types of wallets and this and that from their own speculation and quote unquote deep diving investigation. It creates interest, right? People are like, oh yeah, it creates interest. It's the marketing thing. That's his lane. That's his shtick. Just like with this other guy. Marketing, these marketers, some of them are gifted. Gifted. You could tell. That's not my lane. I'm just talking about practical reasons where we are right now and what's going on and how maybe people are not really looking at what's in front of them the way they should be. Because you could easily say you're waiting for the great news for the SEC to come through. And then RH is going to come back. Start streaming again. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Not after what he's seen the community turn out to be. This is a man that was touching the people. He literally was touching the people. Hugging people, kissing the babies. Well, I don't know about kissing the babies, but definitely cutting the rug. You saw his two-step. You saw his two-step. You saw Richard dance. We've all seen it. In the shiny suit game, crazy. The Louis V bags. The Louis V light bulb bag. Having a good time. That was 3 years ago. That was 3 years ago. And since then, the community just decided to just rally against him. You know, people are human. How do you think they will make you feel? This is a man who says, I'm the giving tree. I'm not saying that to make fun of him either. This is just how I process I'm a weirdo. I process stuff, and nobody cares. I don't care what you feel and think about me. It's not about me. He says he's a giving tree. Has shown how much of a giving tree he really is. And people shit on him. The community shot on him. Not the whole community. Not the entire community. But so many people that were core believers, right? Diehard supporters, this and that and this. Turned their backs on him and the whole situation he got going on. How would you feel? A person who would do live streams during the holidays because he wants to connect with folks who had no families. He wanted to connect with folks who were spending holidays alone, and said it. This is why he's doing the stream, because he understood that some people are this is the most difficult time for people who are spending it alone, and he wants to do a stream with them. Took time to do these things. He didn't have to. He didn't have to do any of this. So what would you do if he really disappeared, if he hadn't already? You understand? I know what I'm going to do. No worries on my end. Because I didn't come into this having the idea that I'm just going to depend on one human being to pump these bags to oblivion, and so I can see an endless amount of riches. Maybe that's my ignorance. Maybe that's me living in a state of bliss, but I didn't come in here that's thinking Richard Heart is just gonna pump this to oblivion and make me rich at some point in life. I didn't come in with that understanding of that, because you know what? Life has a funny way of showing you things to help you understand what disappointment means, especially when you have expectations of others. Surrounding money and things of that nature. For example, will bring the worst out of people. The absolute worst out of people. And he's seen it. I've seen the changes, how people have changed their perspective. They changed their thoughts. They changed their feelings. They've even acted upon their changes and go directly against RH. They didn't even create their own blockchain. You know how you would have somebody in the community that would, let's say they defect, they change their mind about things. They no longer want to support the community anymore or anything related to Richard Heart, and then they go elsewhere. Let's say that the person or people who go elsewhere, they now build something comparable to what Richard has done. Like, for real, you built an entire situation where you have a layer 1 now that you introduce to the world, where you have a DEX, something similar. Like, you want to compete in full force, not some lackluster type situation. Like, compete, show how you can do something better. Like, if you've had some situation like that take place, we have multiple DEXs here, and they still don't compare to Pulse X. The guy right now that I criticized, that we're talking about, 100x, or 100x a coin, and he prefers to, liquid than staking him. He has a DEX. Competing, that's what I'm saying. He's a competitor. He has a DEX that's on Ethereum and Pulse Chain. Adopting, a Richard Heart style of obtuse marketing. The whole sacrifice, they adopted the same thing. You learned that Pulse X has admin keys and was critical of Richard of that. So your operation has admin keys too. You have a whole segment of people on Ethereum right now crying because their project can't go up for some hyper deflationary burn and let it burn and let it burn. But they everything they've welcomed and embraced nothing but admin keys. And they came from Pulse Chain too. How's that working for them on that side over there? Struggling. They're struggling. They're still pushing the goalposts back, talking about, oh, we're gonna have to wait for some buy and burn to do its buy and burn, and when it let it burn, and my boo. Nobody cares about some burn and hyper. You said hyper deflationary was supposed to be November 8th. What happened? You're struggling. Oh, it's a launch on top of a launch on top of a launch on top. You came from Pulse X. You came from Pulse Chain. You came on this side of things, got pissed off at Richard, got very critical, pissed off at Richard, claimed that he's launched an illegal ICO, that the Pulse Chain and Pulse X DEX was subpar for the amount of money that was raised. Extremely critical. But you don't even have your own blockchain to contend. The 21st brick in the Furu building that Richard Hart was bigging up 2.5 years ago in a conference, he's still struggling on an L1. I don't know if the L1 is even out, and if it's even out, nobody cares because we would have been hearing about it in full force. That one was saying, no, Pulse Chain is something easy to do. It doesn't take 2 years, and he's struggling on building his own blockchain. But listen what I'm telling you. Like, at least if you're so embittered about some Richard Hart is renting so much real estate in your mind in a negative way. It's like he's squatting, living in your head for rent free, and you can't do shit about it. Yo, put your money where your mouth is and do something. Produce. Allow that to inspire you to compete in a healthy way. You want to talk about healthy compete in a healthy way. Introduce something in the world that'll help you and everybody make money. But they don't think like that. It's about their ego. That's all it's about. It's not about our well-being, financial well-being, and standing and building generational wealth and helping our loved ones and community thrive financially. No, it's not about that. It's about I'm right, I'm wrong, and I want to be rich off of your dime, off of your back, off of your blood, sweat, and tears. Why would he want to come back to, why would RH want to come back to that? Why? And people shat on him. They turn their backs on him. And he still try to, if he's the one, still tweeting, he still tries to, display some emotional intelligence by not even taking heed to certain things and just highlighting the good, highlighting the positive, highlighting what's been taking place. While everyone wants to hold on to the full V1 bug, Blockchain Explorer sucks, and all this stuff and blah, blah, blah. You want to see something done, you do it. You do it. The man want to give people chances too, but he can't trust nobody because people are just shady McGrady out here. He wants to give people chances. That's why a lot of y'all get mad when he doesn't talk about you or your projects. So you get pissed off because you think you deserve recognition. That's all that is. If Richard Hart would have mentioned all these Sacrifice Project leaders' projects, they would feel, you're right, a lot different. Their whole sentiment would turn around. They would glaze Richard's Red Bull can like nobody else's business. All for attention, all for some validation. Who wants to come back to something like that? Who wants to deal with something like that? You think he doesn't see? This man loves attention. You could tell all the streaming he's been doing in the past, all the documented stuff he's done, he loves the attention. He loves it. And for that to stop and change is very telling, and maybe more so than about being advised by some attorney, by his attorneys to not talk too much or else it'll be used against him, you know, with the SEC smoke. But watching like what's going on, he met y'all. He met a lot of y'all, and y'all turned your backs on him. He stopped streaming. You got scared because you didn't know how you're going to maintain your riches. You didn't know who was going to help pump your bags because y'all know you couldn't do it. You couldn't do it well enough. All this work the community did to rally behind letting the world know about what's going on here that keeps us relevant to this day. We still talk about something, about a coin that was produced and created, launched 5 years ago, and it's still relevant today. More relevant today than it was 5 years ago. But we still have a lot to go, a lot to do as far as like gratitude and being grateful and you know, gracious enough and understand that we're here for a reason. People don't understand what we got going on here. Some of us barely understand. I know I struggle to understand the brevity of what's taking place. It's a lot going on. And it's exciting, man. There's no time to be shitting on RH right now like that, man. Publicly, openly, oh, this and that, that and this, that. There's people, they're so excited about what's going on. They just saying, RH, you the reason why P. Dye gonna peg. They just are like, nah, they just believe. They can't 100% absolutely definitively connect him to anything. They just put their faith over. The faith will just spill over, right? If they feel like they're 95% sure, the rest of the 5% is absolute faith, and that becomes their 100%. Because they want to hold on to something good. It's been 3 years of craziness, 3 years of wild, just up and down, roller coaster, infighting, stupidity, immaturity. And all of this is about real money. This is about money here. Folks have been losing money, doing stupid things with their crypto. Some people don't even have the same amount of crypto they had when they received the airdrops. They have less. Don't want to talk about that. You could tell. When they're seeing green candles print, they're like, oh man, I missed out. So what they're going to do? Talk bad about the green candles. Meanwhile, those who have held on long enough should be happy. But everybody's not going to be happy for your success. That's clear, folks. And you're not trying to be successful for other people to be happy for you. You're doing that for your own well-being. As at least you should, in my opinion. This is your life, your journey, your walk. Celebrate it in kind, right? Celebrate it in kind. Do what it is that you need to do to focus, to create a plan and concentrate on your task, on the task at hand. Don't listen to all these other people, including me. If I'm not making sense, shut me off. Like, don't listen to me anymore if I'm confusing you. I'm bringing you nothing but illusion and lies. Don't listen to a person like me. God, try not to do that. I focus on positivity while I highlight questionable things. Yeah. And bring it to the fore. And we're gonna chop it up. You know? But good people, it's about it. It's about it. Walter Wall said Hexy was the first scam. Yeah, I remember that. That's, that's crazy. That's crazy. Dr. Moore says that is assuming the coin goes up after going down 99%. Most don't. It's true too. Big Smock says communist also gives instant rebate He just says people don't really know that Hex has some other Yeah, of course. Of course. They don't know. They don't know. And you know, that's the thing. Folks don't want to educate themselves to know. They don't want to learn. They don't want to do the research. They don't want to study, right? And see what's available. You know? Yeah, exactly. That DApp Trevon created. There you go. Stake through token there. And get some Hex from time to time. Man, a lot of people got a lot of Hex when that contract came up, even though it brought a lot of contention among people in the community. But those contracts produce a lot of Hex for people, man. Infinite 2, Hex Max, in token, a bunch of different contracts they had. That thing was, yeah, man. I was watching. I remember that. But people didn't like a lot of situations because you know what? You're not gonna make everybody happy. But if I was RH, I'm telling you, I don't know. I'm not him. I won't be surprised if he just doesn't want to participate in anything public anymore. Just goes and you know, set just goes away. Did what he could, this and that, and he'd be in the background doing him. And if he does a Satoshi Nakamoto, who am I to judge? Because you know, it's just somebody on the outside looking in could say, "Oh man, that guy, you know, this and that. He probably, you know, he criticized Satoshi, and look what he's doing." That's if he does disappear. And look what he's doing. You could say, "Oh man, that's a contradiction," but you don't know. You don't know. We have no idea what he's going through. We don't know what he's going through. And the likes of the last 2 years, how you help see people lives change for the better, and then now they just basically destroy your reputation and try to tear you down from the inside out. And people are ungrateful. It's like Dr. Disciple said, you know, they're bad friends. They're not good friends. They're bad friends, man. Well, good people. I'm gonna catch y'all on the next one. Crypto Frontier, good to see you. You said I only did validators and no farming like a ton of other people. Did not trust third party with my coins. I hear you. I hope the validators are producing what they're supposed to validate and produce what they're supposed to validate and produce, and continue to validate and produce. It's a beautiful situation. Validators, you know, something we took for granted too. 32 million, excuse me, post chain to validate. One day, man, that 32 million is right. Like, think about it, right? Like we take so many things for granted, folks. Like, when Hex was 4 zeros and a number, this all-time low, January 5th, 2020, 4 zeros and a 5, 4 zeros, 4 zeros, 4 zeros, 4 zeros, 4 zeros. The thing is at 2 cents today, and people are crying. And okay, eHex is where it's at today. It's not at 4 zeros and a 5. People, we're not gonna talk about eHex, VHex, but I'm just saying. Here we have these tokens. Here is still under SAC price, but like, people don't want to think about the long term. They don't want to think about the future. They just want to think about today. They don't want to zoom out. Like a $32 million amount. I'm sorry. See? $32 million? Yeah. That sounds great to me. Yeah. Imagine one pulse, $1. Yeah. We're claiming it and up. Yeah. We're going to claim that. We're going to claim that. 32 million is going to be a number that we will respect in the future. Like, seriously, I'm telling you, we take things for granted. People didn't respect 32 million Hex because they just had too much. You know, it was just so much that you can get. Now, 32 million Hex is something that people respect. That's my point. Yeah. That's what crypto can. You just don't know. I'm not going to adopt being wrong or doing nothing. I'm just going to be hopeful for greatness for all of us that want to believe and hold true. Everybody else who don't want to believe, yo, shout out to y'all, man. Shout out to y'all, man. You also win. Good luck. But right here, is going to be right here, right here. End of story. Salute to y'all, man. Remain well. Enjoy the rest of your day, morning, evening, noon, night, wherever you are on this planet that I think is round. I do not adopt with flat earth. Shout out to y'all if you do. But have a beautiful rest of your day. And always be vigilant out here, man. We're in a bull market. Be careful. People are going to come out of the woodwork even now more so than ever to tell you that whatever they're promising you is worth your money. Be careful. Be careful. Because all they want to do is take from you what's valuable. Know the value of what you hold. Know the value of yourself first. And then know the value of the cryptos that you hold too, man. Respect yourselves, respect life, and I'm going to catch you on the next one. Take care.